This is for anyone who may be taken aback by my comments. I don't really care if you are. I hope you are. For years now, it has been, 2.5 years since he officially entered the political arena.
Donald Trump, congratulations. You have made this country a land where sleaze is not just the language of politics, but the political environment itself.
His supporters made excuses, continue to make excuses for him. You also might want to do some self-examination. What does it say about you that no matter what, you continue to make excuses for this man, for his vile behavior, this sort of vile behavior? Doesn't that make you just as bad, if not worse, than him? And for all of you who over the last few years have uttered that tired, lazy, uninformed, uneducated, ignorant response of calling me and others who point out racist behavior racists, you know what you can go do?
Fuck Trump.
We don't want to fucking hear from you. Get the fuck away from us. We don't want to fucking hear from you. We got nothing to fucking say to you. Get the fuck away from our.
Get out of his face.
We don't want anything to do with you. You're a fucking spash.
It's fucking over. The discourse is over. We have argued, we have pondered. The discourse is over.
We're not going to be polite anymore. We're going to fight back.
We begin with several developing stories here on a Friday night. First, the violent and bloody clashes outside a Donald Trump event.
Violent scuffles ensued, all of this becoming a part of a pattern of unrest fueled by antagonism and divisive rhetoric.
Kelly Burke is charged with disorderly conduct. Investigators say she was screaming obscenities at a teenage girl, all because she was wearing a T-shirt supporting President Donald Trump.
You're a piece of shit, bro. You're a fucking piece of shit.
Why did he get his hat taken by somebody who dislikes Donald Trump? Are you talking to
the president?
You ain't support shit, nigga.
Just make that hat great again and burn it right in the trash.
Look, nonviolent worked, and we are going to try to stop this.
What we've got to do is fight in Congress, fight in the courts, fight in the streets.
Donald Trump's campaign is surrounded by controversy this morning after a weekend of chaos and violence.
It is a result of the culture of Trump supporters.
We need a revolution.
Are you suggesting that the entire Trump vote was racist and by racists?
I think, yes.
I'm not going to.
That's a Nazi.
I'm not a Nazi. What are you doing, man?
The people of color who are attacked by their fellow citizens who feel emboldened to be publicly racist. Because the president is. His supporters, what does it say about you?
A terrifying night of violence as Donald Trump supporters were attacked by an angry mob waiting for them outside a Trump rally.
This guy sucker punched him in the back of the head.
You also might want to do some self-examination.
Another fist fight's about to break out right now. Trump supporter is getting pummeled right now.
One Trump supporter got knocked around when a fight broke out.
Homeless woman confronted as she showed her support for Donald Trump and his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
You continue to make excuses for this man, for his vile behavior. Doesn't that make you just as bad, if not worse?
The protesters shaking cars, breaking taillights.
The mob even followed the Trump supporters to their cars.
We will punch some people in the face. Trump supporters harassed, beaten, and bloodied by mobs of protesters. Who ruled it?
These are anti-Donald Trump protesters.
He's bleeding bad. No, he's bleeding bad. He's bleeding bad. He's bleeding bad.
Man viciously beaten, all because he voted for Donald Trump.
Oh shit, he's bleeding. Yo. Bleeding. Hard.
You know, this is tough stuff. We're fighting a war.
No Trump, no wall, no USA at all. No Trump, no wall, no USA at all. No Trump, no wall.
transforming the United States of America.
Barack Obama had tried to fundamentally transform our country. And I didn't understand yet how far our country had gone, how much Obama had given away our nation.
Taking a look at the labor force participation rate, it's the lowest it's been in decades and has been on a steady decline during the Obama presidency.
Where the country was before Trump got into this race was it was a dismal economy.
We're still living on the Obama economy, and we're in the worst shape we've been at in the entire post-World War II period.
Unemployment was high, people were downtrodden, people were disappointed, and we became the laughing stock of the foreign policy world because we had an American president who was an apologist for leading the greatest country in the world. And what we saw was this president go overseas and start bowing to foreign leaders and being apologetic for having the greatest superpower the world has ever seen.
What we needed was not a litigator, we needed a fighter. We needed someone that understood this is a cultural war, that the left wants to undo our country. They want to take down America.
No Trump, no wall, no USA at all. No Trump, no wall, no USA at all. No Trump, no wall, no USA at all. No Trump, no wall, no USA at all.
Donald Trump said, "Not on my watch." Now is the time to fight, and Donald Trump was the man to do it.
We don't have victories anymore. We used to have victories, but we don't have them. When was the last time anybody saw us beating China? When did we beat Japan at anything? When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity. The U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems.
The world right now is going, whites are black, Trump's running for president, like, does gravity still work?
You're not going to be president, all right?
Folks, Donald Trump is not a serious person.
That he might be leading the Republican ticket next.
I know you don't believe that, but I want to go on.
Let's not mince words. Donald Trump is a bigot and a racist.
I'm sorry, he's a racist.
He's a belligerent, loudmouthed racist.
There is zero chance we'll be seeing you being sworn in on the Capitol steps with your hand on a giant golden Bible.
The very first thing I noticed about Donald Trump was when he came down the escalator and he said, "I'm rich."
I'm really rich. I'll show you that in a second. And by the way, I'm not even saying that in a braggadocio. That's the kind of mindset, that's the kind of thinking you need for this country.
I'm very, 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 very rich, and I want to show you how to get rich with me.
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
So this began as 500 people in a ballroom in Phoenix. And the hotel called us up. And they said, "Please don't do it here. We're going to be swamped. It's going to destroy the building."
And we will make America great again.
It's been amazing. And outside, sadly, we have thousands of people that can't get in. So you know real estate. You know real estate.
We're going to do it. I love you all. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. We're going to do it.
I think in the primaries, the candidates that were fielded by the Republican Party, it was the best group of candidates that I've ever seen run for the Republican nomination. And it's one that Trump was able to dispense with very quickly and I think very easily. And that's because he connected to voters in a way that they didn't.
I was told by everybody, do not go to Iowa. You could never finish even in the top 10. And I said, but I have friends in Iowa. I know a lot of people in Iowa. I think they'll really like me. Let's give it a shot. They said, don't do it. I said, I have to do it. And we finished second. And I want to tell you something. I'm just honored. I'm really honored.
And there's a reason his support collapsed in the final days. You look at all the entrance polls, people decided the last week, last 2 days, last day. They went to Rubio and Cruz.
Donald Trump is the here today, gone tomorrow candidate for president.
Fox News can now project that Donald Trump will win the Republican presidential primary.
Because as entertaining as Donald Trump is a liar.
And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones, right now, Donald Trump.
Donald Trump, the billionaire real estate magnate, will win the South Carolina Republican primary.
There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
CBS News is projecting that Donald Trump is the winner in the state of Florida.
So here you have two sides within the same party battling over who's going to be right when this is all over.
Your words were, among Hispanics generally, Trump polls only slightly better than cancer. Well, I mean, at least it's slightly better, right?
Trump claimed big wins in the South, a 22-point margin in Alabama, 14-point victories in Tennessee and Georgia, with tighter wins in Arkansas and Virginia.
The RNC has booted National Review from co-sponsoring the Republican debate next month. This after the conservative magazine assembled a group of prominent pundits with a single goal: stopping Donald Trump.
Donald Trump will never be elected president of the United States.
He is not a typical politician.
Fans were flooding Trump events, turning out in record numbers.
People there were groupies. They would go to 7, 10, 15, 30 rallies. They'd travel around the country to see him. They would wait in line for 8, 9, 10 hours in the rain, in the snow.
This evening, his last opponent dropped out.
Trump is the Republican Party's presumptive nominee for president.
Donald Trump is, in fact, the party's presumptive nominee.
And I could not be more proud tonight to present to you and to all of America my father and our next president, Donald J. Trump.
Our convention occurs at a moment of crisis for our nation. The attacks on our police and the terrorism of our cities threaten our very way of life. Any politician who does not grasp this danger is not fit to lead our country. The crime and violence that today afflicts our nation will soon, and I mean very soon, come to an end. Beginning on January 20th of 2017, safety will be restored. What about our economy? Again, I will tell you the plain facts that have been edited out of your nightly news and your morning newspaper. Nearly 4 in 10 African American children are living in poverty, while 58% of African American youth are now not employed. 2 million more Latinos are in poverty today than when President Obama took his oath of office less than 8 years ago. Another 14 million people have left the workforce entirely. The most important difference between our plan and that of our opponent is that our plan will put America first. Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo. The American people will come first once again. Big business, elite media, and major donors are lining up behind the campaign of my opponent because they know she will keep our rigged system in place. My message is that things have to change, and they have to change right now. Every day, I wake up determined to deliver a better life for the people all across this nation that have been ignored, neglected, and abandoned. I have visited the laid-off factory workers and the communities crushed by our horrible and unfair trade deals. These are the forgotten men and women of our country, and they are forgotten, but they're not going to be forgotten long. These are people who work hard, but no longer have a voice. I am your voice.
Unlike the massive crowd at the Trump rally, only 600 people showed up for Hillary Clinton's rally last night in Iowa.
I knew things were changing because I would see the rallies in Ohio and Michigan and Pennsylvania. It's supposed to be a blue wall.
I thought Donald Trump was one of the first politicians in a while who looked at voters and saw them as real people in concrete situations, people with real everyday problems, and who saw them as his fellow Americans. He kind of looked at them as part of a national family.
That's Donald Trump reminding the people of where it used to be a better country, where we had manufacturing, where guys who worked in steel mills and coal plants were heroes of our country. And now under the Obama years, those jobs were decimated, and he promised to bring those manufacturing jobs back because middle America had been left behind.
Today, on a very complicated and very difficult subject, you will get the truth. The fundamental problem with the immigration system in our country is that it serves the needs of wealthy donors, political activists, and powerful politicians. Let me tell you who it does not serve. It does not serve you, the American people. Doesn't serve you. Illegal immigration costs our country more than $113 billion a year. Most illegal immigrants are lower-skilled workers with less education who compete directly against vulnerable American workers. Only the out-of-touch media elites think the biggest problem facing American society today is that there are 11 million illegal immigrants who don't have legal status. To all the politicians, donors, and special interests, hear these words from me and all of you today. There is only one core issue in the immigration debate, and that issue is the well-being of the American people. Build the wall. Build the wall. They will. Oh, we'll build it. We'll build it. Who's going to pay for it?
You can put half of Trump supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
When Hillary Clinton called our voters and our supporters deplorable, I think it helped change the dynamics of the entire race.
So what does she get out of criticizing a quarter of the country, presumably some of whom she'd love to have vote for her?
We have the support of cops and soldiers, carpenters and welders, the young and the old, and millions of working-class families who just want a better future and a good job. These were the people Hillary Clinton so viciously demonized. These were among the countless Americans that Hillary Clinton called deplorable.
What Hillary Clinton has done here is she's created a community.
Our next guests are Trump supporters who are embracing the deplorable label.
We wanted to show everybody that we're not deplorable, we're normal middle-class women.
We don't win, we lose. We are going to start winning again. We're going to win with everything. We're going to win so much. You are going to get so sick and tired of winning. I say this kiddingly, but I love saying it. You are going to get so tired of winning. You're going to say, please, please, Mr. President, we can't take it anymore. The people of New Mexico cannot take it. You're winning too much. We can't stand it. Please don't win so much. And I'm going to say, I'm sorry. We're going to keep winning. We are going to make America great again.
New polls just out tonight nationally. Hillary Clinton, after the first debate now at 47 to Donald Trump's 42.
Clinton is polling now at 49%, Donald Trump at 44%.
There comes a moment in every great endeavor when success or failure is determined by the decisions you make under duress at a seminal moment. Donald Trump's moment came in October.
Billy Bush weekend was probably the most difficult weekend of the campaign. What was taking place at Trump Tower was the staff there was attempting to manage the president and come up with a solution. Some people told the president to get out of the race, and he was going to go down and have the biggest defeat in our history. But what I knew about Donald Trump was you never back down, you double down.
That 2005 Access Hollywood tape wasn't just lewd remarks. Trump was literally explaining a time-tested strategy for sexual assault.
The swing voters have been these college-educated white women who went for Mitt Romney by 6 points, and in our last poll, went for Hillary Clinton by 25 points. They last night saw nothing to bring them to Donald.
Could I just cut through? I have one thing to say, one thing only. And that is that this race is over.
Basically, this was just going to be a coronation now for Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump had no shot.
An estimated 20,000 people turned out last night at a football stadium in Mobile, Alabama.
NBC News SurveyMonkey poll is out today. It puts Hillary Clinton up by 10 points over Donald Trump.
The first exit polls come out, and the margin is so bad that there's basically not enough votes left to go and make it up. We're going to lose everything. And in CNN, you can feel the jubilation that the reporters are having.
You know what we haven't had in a presidential election in a long time? A real landslide. And I don't want to oversell this here, but at least right now, in this moment, we're seeing an interesting possibility in this presidential race.
It was funny because when I saw Florida come in and they refused to call it for Donald Trump, I knew at that moment that CNN didn't want to call it because it would be the end of it all.
The result of the election hasn't been officially declared yet, so I go ahead.
I knew at that moment that the president had won.
I did not think the swamp could be beaten. I did not think that the Hillary Clinton machine could be beaten. I did not think that Donald Trump would beat them. The biggest surprise of the night. But if I had to say secondary to that, it would definitely be the response of all the pundits and the pollsters as they saw their whole brand just melt around them when they were proven 100% false on everything that they had been saying for the last 6 months.
And all of a sudden, by 10:30 at night, I know Trump's going to be the president-elect of the United States. And I've got to go back on CNN, and it was an amazing feeling.
You've won, so act like you've won.
I think Donald Trump is going to go on tonight. I think he's waiting for Hillary Clinton to call him and concede this race. And then he's going to make a very gracious speech which says, I want to be the president for the entire United States. I want to bring everyone together. I don't think it's outrageous for him to wait.
No candidate in modern American politics has ever run a wire-to-wire first-place campaign. We went in first place, and we never looked back.
We are going to make this decision now. The Fox News decision desk has called Pennsylvania for Donald Trump. This means that Donald Trump will be the 45th president of the United States.